Welcome back to Rooted in Our Ancestors' Dreams, where legacy is bound by vision and rooted in purpose. I'm Cara, your host, and this is our end of the year reflection. In this episode of Rooted in Our Ancestors' Dreams, we named what 2025 demanded: grief, burnout, financial strain, identity stress, relationship shifts, and community fatigue. While honoring what we carried with courage, we reflect on the themes we explored this year: legacy, overcoming obstacles, decolonizing, healing, liberation and embodiment, generational trauma, faith and community care, and mental health realities. Then we step into 2026 with intention, rooted, clear, and committed to building a life and a community our ancestors will recognize as freedom. Before we celebrate anything, I want to honor something. If you're listening to this right now, you made it to the end of 2025. Maybe with joy, maybe with grief, maybe with exhaustion you can't explain, but you're here, and in this space, rooted in our ancestors' dreams, we don't rush past survival. We name it, we bless it, we learn from it. This episode is for the ones who are proud and still tired, for the ones who hit goals and still feel heavy, for the ones who lost something this year and are learning how to keep living anyway. As we step into 2026, I want us to do it differently, without the pressure to perform healing, without the lie that we have to become somebody else to be worthy. Let's name what this year brought up. For real. Burnout and survival mode. Some of us didn't have a soft life year. We had a get through it year. We were working, caregiving, showing up, pushing through, all while quietly unraveling. Financial strain and instability. Groceries, rent, bills, everything felt louder. And it's hard to dream about legacy when you're trying to survive today. Relationship shifts. 2025 revealed what was real. Friendships changing, family dynamics intensifying, breakups, betrayals, and boundary setting that cost us closeness. Identity stress and visibility fatigue. For many of us, BIPOC communities, LGBTQIA folks, immigrants, marginalized communities, there's that extra layer of having to advocate for your humanity while also trying to keep your nervous system intact. Grief, big and quiet. Some grief had names. Some grief was a version of you that you outgrew. Some grief was a dream that didn't happen on time. If 2025 felt heavy, I just want to say you're not broken. You're responding to real life. One thing I love about this podcast is we don't just talk about struggle. We talk about meaning. We talk about how people build a life from what tried to break them. This year, we explored topics that are not just conversations. They're survival tools and legacy lessons. Legacy and success without losing yourself. Redefining what success looks like when you're building for the next generation, not just your own ego. Overcoming obstacles, not the motivational poster version, the real version, where you keep going while you're still scared, grieving, and tired. Decolonizing healing. We talk about therapy, education, and what it takes to learn survival strategies that were never meant to be permanent homes. Generational trauma, including within immigrant families. The silence, the pressure, the be grateful messaging that sometimes hides pain. Intersectionality and advocacy. Race, gender, sexuality, and what it means to live out loud when the world wants you small. Suicide and mental health crisis. Naming the reality, reducing shame, and reminding folks that reaching out is strength, not weakness. Liberation and embodiment. learning to come back into the body after trauma, after stress, and after always having to be strong. And when you zoom out, all of these topics point to one thing. We are building lives our ancestors could only imagine while still carrying what they endured. That's why this work is sacred. Let's do a 2-minute reflection. Let's do something simple together. I want you to get still, and I want you to take a breath. One hand on your chest, one hand on your belly if you can. Ask yourself, 1, what did I survive this year that deserves to be honored? 2, what did I learn about myself that I don't want to forget? 3, what am I ready to stop normalizing? Now say this out loud if you can. I keep the wisdom. I release the weight. I honor the journey. I'm leaving some things in 2025, and you can borrow this list. I'm leaving over-explaining my boundaries. My boundaries are for me so that I can keep peace, so that I can feel safe, so that I can continue healing. Shrinking to keep others comfortable. I am living authentically. I am going to be myself, and I am going to be proud of who I am. I will not step on glass. I will not shrink myself so that others can be comfortable with what they're uncomfortable about. Romanticizing struggle as proof of worth. There's nothing romantic about struggling, but there's everything beautiful about overcoming obstacles, acknowledging that there are obstacles and that you are struggling, and continuing to move past those struggles. Staying loyal to people who keep choosing themselves at your expense. I'm leaving behind people who are not prioritizing me or our relationship, and who are not good friends or good people to be around. People who drain me and just take. Calling burnout ambition. There is nothing nice about burnout. With burnout, I am prioritizing self-care. I'm learning to stop, and I'm learning to set boundaries so that I can continue my recovery. Confusing productivity with purpose. This year, I will not overwork myself. This year, I plan to work, and I plan to rest. And I plan to set boundaries and acknowledge that I don't need to overwork to meet productivity, that I'm okay where I'm at. And this one is big. I'm leaving behind the belief that healing has to look pretty to be well. It does not. Healing is a constant shifting. There are times when you will backtrack. There are times when you will stall. And there are times where you will gain leaps and move forward and move past things. But healing is a constant thing. It's not something that is one and done. It is a continuation throughout life. One word for 2026. Now let's step into 2026 with something solid. Instead of 20 resolutions, try 3 anchors. Examples, you can be rooted, clear, free, steady, stable, soft, disciplined, courageous. What's your word? Anchor 2, one boundary that protects your spirit. Some examples are, I don't stay in conversations that disrespect my humanity. Or I don't answer messages when I'm depleted. Another one is I stop rescuing adults who refuse to grow. That is one that resonates with me because I have learned that you can only heal and create something with people who are ready. And some people may not be ready. So you cannot waste your time and your energy on those people because you want it more than them. The last one is I will rest before I crash. That is another one that resonates with me. I will definitely learn to rest before I crash. I will learn to engage in self-care, learn to know what my limitations are, and work with that. Anchor 3, one practice that builds legacy. Not perfection, practice. So that could look like therapy and coaching. That could look like weekly planning, organizing, or a budgeting check-in. It could look like movement that feels like care, community connection twice a month, creative outlets, volunteering, or consistent medical and mental health follow through. Legacy isn't just what we leave when we die, it's what we model while we're alive. The dream is still alive, and I want to speak something over you as we enter 2026. You are not behind, you are not too late. You are not disqualified because you struggled. You are not weak because you needed help. You are living evidence of endurance. And you don't have to carry 2025 into 2026 to prove you're strong. In 2026, we're choosing lives that love us back. We're choosing rest as resistance. We're choosing community over isolation. We're choosing healing that includes the body, the culture, and the spirit. Because we're rooted in our ancestors' dreams, and we are still allowed to dream on our own. And a note of safety. If this season brought up heavy feelings, especially thoughts of not wanting to be here, please don't hold that alone. Reach out to someone you trust, a therapist or crisis resource in your area. You deserve support. You deserve to stay, and you are wanted and loved. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs a soft landing. Send us Rooted in Your Ancestors Dreams through Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Send us your one word for 2026, one boundary, and one legacy practice. This is Rooted in Our Ancestors' Dreams, where legacy is bound by vision and rooted in purpose. Until next time, take a deep breath and keep building. Thank you.